Welcome to the Double Dribble Podcast with Dubin and Dakil. That's Jared Dubin, author of the newsletter Last Night in Basketball. Make sure you're a subscriber there because you're just going to get a ton of great stuff from there. I read it almost every morning. I'm a little bit slow sometimes. Sometimes it takes me an afternoon to get to my emails. But I get there, and I always enjoy the stuff and the insights. Of course, Jared's a buddy of mine. We podcast all the time now and all that fun stuff. But I highly recommend it. Go subscribe. Make sure you're checking it out. I'm Mo Dakil, former video coordinator with the Clippers-Spurs Team Australia. I'm a contributor on NBA TV, and I do videos for a company called Offside. Make sure you're checking out our app. The beta version is out. Make sure you're following along there. Download the app. We have the iOS version out now. Android folks, listen, we're coming to you. Just sign up. We'll get to you, but just sign up, or be a normal human being and get an iPhone. Let us all just be one with Apple. Let's just be that. Lot to get to. Oh, wait, Jared. I always forget, and I do a bad job of this all the time. Please rate, review, subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you give us that. We are looking for 5 million reviews. Relatively short span, so make sure we get all that, and make sure you're leaving 5-star reviews, and don't talk about our dogs. You want to make me irrational mad? Talk about our dogs.
Talk about our dogs in a good way, and that'll make me very happy. But yeah, not a lot went on in the NBA last night, so not too much to talk about.
Cool, good podcast. We'll see y'all next week. Well, let's talk about the biggest news of all. Let's just start. I'm going to switch the order around. Let's just go Bam. Bam Adebayo drops 83.
Wait, was that not the biggest news of all? I feel like it is.
Well, I meant overall. Tatum's the bigger news to me in terms of stuff that actually matters. But Bam drops 83 points against the tanking Washington Wizards. He had 31 in the first half. It's funny, in the first quarter. He had 31 in the first quarter, and nothing registered in my mind because I was locked in on another game. And just kind of, it didn't click at all in my brain that oh, wait, he had 31 points in the first quarter. This can really go nuts. Then, of course, everybody's reaction has been pretty, I'll just say, kind of shitty about it. I understand why.
Mixed at best.
Yeah, but I mean, look, we have Ime. I've never seen coaches do this, who weren't at the game. Ime Udoka, in his press conference, basically, dismissed it. JJ Redick dismissed the fourth quarter. Coach of the Washington Wizards, Brian Keefe, basically said the fourth quarter wasn't basketball. I said, I don't know. Maybe you have a hand in that. But there's a lot of stuff there. Ban McMahon went on a rant on their show, The Hoop Collective. Jared, overall, just first off, your thoughts about it? And then your thoughts and we forgot the funniest thing. The funniest of it all was the Laker announcer. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
The Laker PA announcer.
A somber footnote in NBA history.
No, but melancholy footnote. Or somber, you're right, somber. But it was just
I think you're right. I think it was melancholy.
Melancholy footnote. That is actually pretty great trolling because obviously Kobe had 81, so there's the history there. But that was pretty funny to me. Your reaction and then your reaction to the reaction.
My first reaction is 83 points is freaking cool, man. That is a lot of points. It's only been done once in NBA history, obviously, by Wilt Chamberlain. If you're listening to this podcast, you know that Wilt Chamberlain is the only other guy that has scored 83 or more points in the history of American professional basketball. Cheryl Miller did it as well. The history of American men's professional basketball, I should say. Or has anyone else in women's basketball scored more than 83? I don't think so.
Listen, I'm going to apologize in advance. We're veering into a world that I don't know. So we're just going to play it safe and say men's basketball. We don't know if we're just going to stay in our lane here a little bit, Jared.
Yeah, we are. 83 points is cool. I don't much care for the criticism of how he got there because 83 points is cool. 43 field goal attempts is a lot of field goal attempts. 43 free throw attempts is even more, or it's not even more, but it's a lot of free throw attempts, so much so that it's the NBA record. Nobody had ever taken more than 39 in a game before. He made the most free throws in NBA history, too. Did the entire thing get a little bit ridiculous in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter? Absolutely. but that always happens in these sorts of games. And if you believe the historical accounts, it happened in Wilt's 100-point game too, not necessarily with fouls, but there was reports that like they just kept letting the Knicks score quickly so that they could get the ball back to Wilt so he could get up to his 100 points. We saw it happen when Luka scored 70 whatever a few years ago. We saw it happen when Devin Booker scored 70 a few years before that. Like, that's just what happens in these kind of games. So I don't much care for the criticism of that. I also want to say, so the 43 that he scored in the first half was legit. Like, I watched the game this morning, 43 in the first half, 13 of 24 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3, 12 of 14 from the line on all legit shots, legit fouls. Like, that was just an incredible performance before the half. And then they basically committed to getting him as many shots and as many free throws as possible in the second half. He took 19 of their 40 shots. He took 29 more free throws in the second half, which is absolutely absurd. So when you think about it, he took 34 of their 49 true possessions in the second half, which obviously is not normal offense, but is what happens when a player and a team are chasing a specific number, which they obviously were. I think we need to talk about the Wizards' role in this.
So that's where I was going to go in with that. Because first off, for the sake of this conversation, we can't call them the Wizards. They were the Washington Generals in this game. Like, that's just who they were. Like, that's just, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, I'm not mad at Bam. I'm not mad about the free throws. I'm not mad I don't care as much because it's in a game that was well in hand and you're chasing. I didn't care that much when Booker did it. I didn't care that much with Luke. Like, it's impressive. I don't want to take this away from the player itself, right? It's impressive. The fouls were legit fouls. Like, when you go through them, they were legitimate fouls. It wasn't stuff like that. Yes, they were force feeding them. Yes, they were doing all that stuff. Okay, all of that is fine to me. The Wizards played into this in a way that's actually absurd.
Yes.
And I mean, excuse me, I broke the rule. The Generals played into this. That was I'm going to stay with it, and I might do that for the rest of the season, because like you played into it in a way where, like, I was really annoyed with the coach Keefe, who was like afterwards going like, "Yeah, that last fourth quarter wasn't basketball." I'm like, bro, you're one side of this.
Yeah,
you're half
wasn't
of
basketball from the Wizards either. Like, they tried so hard to prevent him from getting to 81 points that they helped him get to 83 points. Like, they just would not stop fouling him. In the second half, they tried so hard to prevent him from getting the ball. They face guarded him and they fouled him. They double and triple teamed him and they fouled him. They bodied him up so heavily when he actually did get the ball that they fouled him. They tried so hard to prevent him from getting the ball in the paint and finishing at the rim that they fouled him. Like, they made it easier on him than it should have been. Like, this was a guy who had never scored more than 41 points in the game before he scored 43 in the first half. Was he really going to score another 40 in the second half if you just played straight up defense? I don't think so. Like, he went 7 of 19 from the field, 2 of 11 from 3 in the second half. He cooled down so much, and he only got there because they just wouldn't stop fouling him.
And just so you know, folks, if we ever break this record or get a player to 100, it's going to be something like this. So, you know, we have to be aware of that for the moment. It's not going to
be. I think it'll be with more threes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in a game like this, right? A team that's tanking, that's not very good, that doesn't have any real kind of
all
hope
of these
for the
games
season.
tend to come against bad teams, by the way.
Right, like, you know, like it's very rare. Kobe's 81 points came in a game where they needed those points to win that game, right? They end up winning, I think, by like 16 or like a big enough margin. But going into the fourth quarter, it was a tight game, right? Like, they needed all of that stuff. Like,
this game was, I think, within 14 or 16 going into the fourth quarter.
Wasn't it? Okay. I haven't seen the full game. Like, I just kind of saw the highlights of Bam. I haven't really seen the full
exact score, but I'm pretty sure it was not close, but not
completely. Amount. But like, I just think like
it was within 16 going into the fourth.
So this is on the Wizards more than anything. God damn it, the Generals. I'm really gonna try to hold true to this. The
Just
Generals.
call them Washington.
No, I want to really let them know that they're the Washington Generals when they play and they play against this kind of thing and give Globetrotter antics away. I think it's really kind of embarrassing. Like that being on that end of it as a team is embarrassing. Like I don't know how Keefe goes into the meeting today and like you don't watch the film of this game. You don't like you just don't. Like,
what is there to watch? Like the entire second half, they just fouled him the whole time.
Right. Like it's. I just feel like they did a. I think this was a really bad. The backlash. Look, part of it I get it. It was Kobe, and then we hold Kobe in this crazy lore, sort of thing. But like you said, man, no matter how you get it, 83 is nuts. Booker, Luka, like those are crazy numbers. I just wonder, like, when we, at some point, if we break 100 or break this even, or we're going to do the same thing. Because it's going to have to be like this. You're going to have to force feed whoever's hot. You're going to have to keep going like that. It's funny. There was a story, Brian Shaw tells a story of Kobe when he had 62 3/4 against the Mavs. Mm-hmm. And Shaw
Bam had 62 3/4 also, by the way. Right.
Shaw goes up to, and they were blowing out the Dallas Mavericks, who actually went to the finals that year. Mm-hmm. They go to him during the quarter break. You know, Phil Jackson asks Shaw to go ask Kobe if he wants to play the beginning of the fourth quarter and try to get 70, and we'll take him out. And Kobe was just like, no, like, I'm good. I'll do it another time. First off, the arrogance of I will do this another time is a whole other level. But
and then to back it up and actually,
and then do it a few weeks later and get 81. But it was like I'll do it when we need it, kind of deal. Like, but we're not going to get that, and I don't blame any single player. Even Bisha in the story when he tells the story goes, I was mad at him. Like, when do you get a chance to get 70?
Like, I would have been mad too.
Yeah, so, like, there's a level of so I just think, like, this is how it's going to happen. And like you said, the rumors, the story when Wilt did it apparently was similar. Like, this is how it's going to be. I feel like, I was texting a friend of mine this. I was surprised the coaches did it. I was surprised Ime said what he said. Although, like, let's just be honest, Ime's an asshole.
I didn't see what Ime said. What did he say?
Oh, let me pull it up then, because it's like a legitimate, like...
I saw that Reddick said that about the last few minutes, like, wasn't basketball, and it wasn't. But, again, the Wizards played into that also. Like, they were not trying to play defense. They were just trying to stop Bam from getting the ball. They were triple-teaming him on the inbounds to try to stop him from getting the ball. Like, it wasn't like just the Heat were not playing basketball at the end of the game. Like, the Wizards absolutely contributed to it.
Okay, so this is Ime's quote after their game. First thing you think is how. Not because of him, but because of the way he plays. I saw he only made 6 threes, but 40 free throws on something like that. Tells the story right there. And the Washington Wizards. Which also, we should rebrand Washington Generals. That's
he said, and the Washington Wizards?
Yeah. Like he's shitting on it. And so I just never seen coaches. I expect media pundits, media people like us to be upset and fans to be like, oh, because there's the same thing happened when Booker did it.
Right.
I've never seen the coaches actually, the way JJ talks about it was like, he saw the score during his game and goes like, oh man, the Heat are rolling. They're like, Bam has 77. He's like, what?
Like, that's kind of funny. Reaction on the bench too. They showed that during one of the games.
I gotta go see this.
It's like Siakam and Quentin Jackson, and I can't remember who else it was, and they were just like aghast, obviously, because how high would Bam have been on a list of guys? Like, if you said before the season, I saw Simmons was asking this. If you said before the season someone is going to score 83 points this year, where would Bam have ranked on that list? Because I don't think he would have been in the top 83 players that I would have guessed.
No, but this is kind of the way this sort of stuff happens from time to time, right? Like, the unlikely Corey Brewer with the 50-point game. Like, there are times where you get unlikely sort of stuff. I just feel like it's a little bit, let Bam have his moment. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't particularly care. One way or like, I'm not moved by this. This doesn't change my opinion of Bam Adebayo as a basketball player, one way or the other. It changes my opinion of the Washington Generals.
It's embarrassing for them.
It's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm more embarrassed for them than I'm like, wow, what Bam did was I'm not walking around going, Bam. What Bam did was absolutely amazing. It was great. It's awesome.
Pretty amazing. Like, he scored 83 fucking points, you know?
Yeah, but it's like, I'm not at the point where I'm like, I'm not falling over it.
No,
there are
like,
more.
This is the greatest performance I've ever seen.
Right. Like, right.
Pretty
That's
incredible.
kind of where I'm at. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm not going to go nuts about it. We have more important things going on than this meaningless.
One more thing before
Go
this.
for it, buddy.
Like, it's always going to happen against one of the tanking teams. Or actually,
Always.
let me ask you these two questions. So I saw Sam Amick wrote a column today at The Athletic. He should have stopped at 81. I'm wondering what you think of that argument because I have some thoughts about it. And then I forgot what my second question was. So what do you think about that argument?
I think that's bullshit.
Yes.
That's just
Sam
bullshit.
is great. I just no. Like what is the purpose of that?
By the way, that would not be something, and I don't think that's something Kobe would want either.
Oh, Kobe would hate it. Hate it.
We're going to just stop at 81? Like, what? Like, no, we're going to, maybe Kobe wouldn't be happy about the way this was done and the way the game played out. And his thing is, I did it in a game where we needed it, where we were losing. I had to go, like, whatever. But, like, the notion that he should have stopped at 81 is just pure bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is, we're never going to allow another player to score over 81 points. Like, that's kind of ridiculous in that sense.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Like, if you can do it, why not do it?
Yeah.
I will say the Heat are probably like one of the more unlikely teams to be doing the shenanigans that they pulled last night.
Yeah, and that was that Van McMahon's real crux of his rant was, we're the hardest, most disciplined, professional, blah, 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 blah team or whatever. Like,
but that's
that
also
was
bullshit. They're not.
They're not. That's the other thing. That's just bullshit too. By the way, it was all over when they wrote that on the court. Just again, for the record, when that became part of the court, Heat culture died that day. And I'm telling you that as a fact. Let's go to more important stuff.
Yes.
Because this is actually like pretty big. Jayson Tatum kind of made his return on Friday.
Kind of?
Has looked pretty good. Yeah, I had to just go kind of. Has looked pretty good. Played 3 games so far. Overall thoughts, and then we can probably dive in a little bit into their game against the Spurs because there were some things in that game that I thought were interesting.
Yeah. He looks much better physically than I could have possibly imagined. I'm pretty surprised that he's played 27 minutes in all 3 games, or I think he might have played 26 last night. I would have thought he would be on 27 minutes in all 3 games. I would have thought that he would be on a minute restriction. They said there's no minute restriction, but when you play 27 in all 3 games, it makes me think that he's on a 28-minute restriction, and you can't play him more than that. But I would have thought it would have been lower at first, like 18, 20 minutes a game or something along those lines. So I'm pretty surprised that he's already playing as much as he is. But like I said, looks much better physically than I would have thought. He has been extremely jumper happy in these 3 games, which is not surprising because the explosiveness has only been there on occasion in terms of getting to the basket. The shot selection on some of those jumpers has been, shall we say, questionable. But again, I'm also not surprised by that. I'm very encouraged that he's already contributing in a major way as both a rebounder and a passer. I think especially in that first game, the rebounding was great. The passing was great. He already has, I think, chemistry with Neemias Queta, which is interesting because he hasn't played all that much over the previous few years that Tatum has obviously been the fulcrum of the team. But yeah, I mean, I'm very encouraged by what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I don't know how often we'll get the explosion from him that we're used to, and that might come a little bit later. Let me just start with this. First off, like the Boston Celtics can stop with this bullshit. He's on a minutes restriction. We don't need to
And
play.
I think Tatum said that he's on a minute restriction. He was like, "I hate this shit," but
We
Missoula
don't.
said there was no restriction.
Yeah, we don't need this whole like we can see it with our eyes, and it's not anything. It's like Missoula, this whole thing of Missoula and like weakness and da 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 da. Like this whole like stop this bullshit and the charade. In the same way of like the rumor has it. I think Bill Simmons said it on his podcast. He had been playing 5-on-5 for weeks to like get in the like to his credit like besides the beginning that first run he had in his first game back against Dallas, I think he was 0 for 6 right away. Missed that dunk and things like that. Like I think there was a little bit.
How cool would it have been if he made that dunk though? Like,
oh, it would have been awesome. It would have been awesome.
It's like when Clay came back and he had a dunk as his first basket.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, okay. But then he got back. It was almost. This is.
Or I guess Tatum did have a dunk as his first basket too. It was just a tip dunk.
It was a tip dunk. But this is if somebody. This is how nerdy I am, and I'm just gonna raise my hand. I'm a nerd. Used to have a podcast called Nerd as She Wrote.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. Somebody should do a video compilation if it hasn't been already done with Eminem's "Lose Yourself" because in the beginning when he's missing all the shots or whatever, and then the dunk should be okay. The look on your face is very. I'm gonna just keep. I'm gonna talk basketball now and not do video stuff. I think the ultimate thing was like he's still working off rust. There were things in this game with the Spurs where there were 2 possessions. I want to say back to back in the first half. He got Wemby on an up fake, drove to the rim. On another one, he drove through traffic and got to the rim. Like those were like, okay, those are the ones that I think when we see that more regularly, and he's not as much a jump shooter as he is right now, then we can feel like he's fully back offensively. I still think defense is going to take a while to really kind of come together. That lateral movement is the one that's going to be really interesting to see how that stuff gets stressed.
He hasn't really been tested so far defensively. Some of that is they're not putting him in the same type of matchups that they would have obviously before he was hurt. Like in the Mavericks game, he guarded Middleton and PJ Washington and Najee Marshall. There was a little bit more challenges in the Cavs game where he was guarding some of the guys. Like he had a couple possessions on Harden, a couple possessions on Mitchell, but there was a lot of like. What was it, Dean Wade or?
Yeah, no, I mean they're as it should be. They're working him into this, and he might not be guarding the top guys. And
honestly, he shouldn't. Like you shouldn't be testing him that much. Like he's not going to have the same lateral mobility. Obviously, he's not going to have the same explosiveness and the ability to change directions as quickly as possible as you need to be able to defend the best players. Like. I wouldn't test him too much defensively. And they have the defensive personnel where they don't need to do that.
That was where I was going to go with that. Was like they have enough defense around him that he doesn't have to guard those guys and, kind of really deal with that. And I think the other thing, too, about the Spurs game was that was the chance, though, for Tatum to have, like, the storybook ending to his comeback. When Brown gets thrown out, which I want to talk about in a second, but he could like that back in pre-Achilles Tatum would be taking over this game. He tried to take over this game, it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the recovery as well in trying to figure like that stuff out.
Yeah, pre-Achilles Tatum wouldn't have been as jumper happy as he was. He wouldn't be taking like 14, 15 threes. He would have been going to the basket.
Often. 0 free throws in the game. Like that's
early in his career. He wasn't taking as many free throws as he should have. But over the last few years, he developed into a much more aggressive player and was able to get him to the line much more often. It's hard, obviously, to do that against the Spurs when Wemby is sitting there in the middle of the lane.
Jesus.
But yeah.
Let's talk about that game in particular, and I want to talk about Jaylen Brown. Did you watch the game?
I did.
Okay. What was like the your viewpoint of the Brown ejection?
It was a pretty clear foul that Tyler Ford missed while staring right at it. I did think, like, when Jalen came back the opposite way arguing, like, there was a lot of people that were talking about how Ford had, like, an arrogant reaction to it. I thought he was just saying, I thought he was saying okay at first, but, like, okay, I understand what you're saying. But he did, on second viewing, have kind of an arrogant reaction to it, which is not out of the norm for Tyler Ford when getting into it with players. Apparently, he said, he cursed at him, which you're going to get a technical for that. But just don't go after him again. Like,
it wasn't even that. I wanted to even go for. I'm not defending Tyler Ford, right? That was a bad missed call. Like, that's a pretty bad, obviously missed foul call. Mm-hmm. I will give him credit, whether smug or not. He let Brown go for a while.
Yeah.
Before the first technical.
Twice.
Like
before
he let him
technical, he let him go for a little bit, and then he said some magic word. And then after the first technical, he let him go for a while again. And then I can't remember which ref it was, came from the other side of the court. And I guess
but it wasn't but my thing is, and this is a criticism of Brown in this, because it's like he has complained about the officiating a little bit too much this season,
including against the Spurs in the first game.
Yeah, and it's like, it's well, he's going to get a big one here now. Yeah. But ultimately, like, when you're complaining to the ref, even if you're right, which sucks, right? Like, you have to know because he literally, the play was going. And you see it from one of the angles, and Brown turns back again to yell at Ford at the baseline while the play's going. That's when the technical happens. Like, bro, you got to let it go. Your team needs you. It was a close game, and it was a great game going back and forth for a good minute there. I didn't have faith once Brown was gone that they were going to be able to pull this off. Also, no Peyton Pritchard in this game. But I felt like, the reaction after getting the technical was overdone. And then he tweets out during the game. Which I'm funny. Like, okay, like, that's funny, but, like, all right, that's a fine. Maybe you might even get suspended.
I don't know if he'll get suspended. He's definitely going to get a big fine.
Well, because you're not supposed to. By rule, you're not supposed to tweet during games. That's a rule within the NBA.
Is it the same if you get ejected?
Huh? You're still there. You're not supposed to. I actually 100% know it's the same, because this happened to Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes got ejected from a game. I was with the Clippers. It was my last year. Matt Barnes got ejected from a game. Was pissed off. I don't remember the whole. I don't remember. I can't repeat part of the tweet. But, like, basically tweeted something during the game, and then he got fined. Right, like, it was something,
Fine, but not suspended. Did he get suspended?
No, I think, but the difference is, Brown has been going at this angle over and over again.
Yeah.
For repeatedly this season, where I think, first off, it's the NBA. Adam Silver is not going to. If Mo was the commissioner, I'd fight the PA and suspend him and be like, "Fucking, I'm tired of this bullshit." Okay. This is my parenting attitude. Sorry, but the
I kind of want to know what else Commissioner Mo would do, like, not just on this subject.
Off-season podcast. Make a list of questions. Commissioner Mo will take session, and we'll have a conversation. Let's just have an off-season podcast. I think the deal, though, is just like, you hurt your team in this moment. Mm-hmm. Like, selfishly, and you lost your shit. I'm a little bit annoyed with Celtics beat reporters and people that are tied to the Celtics immediately going to, like, Tyler Ford's a smug asshole. Yeah, guess what? So many of the officials are. That doesn't mean what Brown did was right. Like, that was wrong. He needed to actually not lose his shit. Fine. The first technical, fine. After that, you got to cool it, dude. Like, that was my thing with that. I want to talk a little bit about the Spurs because I did tweet something out that was pretty funny, and then
I will say before you get to the Spurs, to your point about the Celtics beat report, there is a certain segment of the Celtics beat that essentially acts as like cheerleaders of the team.
By the way, that's almost every team has that in their, like, there are beat reporters who I'm like, oh, I'm going to get the real, and then there are beat reporters I'm like, okay, you're a beat reporter / fan, and that's also all of Oklahoma City media.
Like to me, it's not a big deal if you're a fan of the team. When you're like cheerleading the team through your work, I find
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, but like I don't make a secret that I'm a Knicks fan, but I don't like through my work cheer on the Knicks.
I don't feel like
to win basketball games. I enjoy it more when they win basketball games. But
when I read your stuff, Jared, I don't read you as you're a Knicks fan.
Right. I don't like root against, like, first of all, the only team I root against in any sport is Florida State football. That's the only thing that I care about. Like, I'm very unusual in this. Like, my dad, he's like a massive Knicks fan, Yankee fan. Like, he hates the Red Sox. He hates the Mets. He roots for them to lose every game. He'll text me like, great Mets lost today. Like,
I love your dad.
I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I want the Yankees to win. I want the Knicks to win. I don't care what happens with like the Celtics or the Sixers or the Raptors or anybody else. It doesn't matter to me. But I also don't like through my work cheerlead the Knicks, which is something that there are certain segments of every beat that do, and I find it a little weird.
So I wanted to, let's slide over after we stopped attacking our media brethren.
And there are plenty of media that don't do that, and like they that still make no secret that they're a fan, but cover the team still objectively.
We love you all, no matter what. The Spurs, on the other hand, pretty freaking good. I tweeted out that this part. This is something I still think I was right, but it's just not in this game. I tweeted out during the game, Wemby is shooting too many threes for my liking. Mm-hmm. And he was hitting them. I mean, literally right after that tweet, he hit a step-back three that made me like tweet out. And, of course, he hits a step-back 3.
That was sick.
I look at it going, and my point is, even if, and somebody responded, he's triple team, what do you expect him to do? I expect him to kick it out after he's triple team and get his teammates looks, and then for them to find a way to get it back to him. When they're at their best, he's dominating the paint scoring-wise, right? And I think that's an important thing to me. Mm. He did go 8 of 15 from 3, so I probably should shut the fuck up.
You know who else should shut the fuck up when it comes to something with the Spurs? Me. Because I questioned last week whether the Spurs would ever ramp Wemby up to 37, 38 minutes a game or something along those lines. And then literally hours later against, I can't remember who it was against because I wasn't watching that game. But they ramped him up to 38 minutes that night, and he had 39 points or whatever it was. And he did say the next night that he was exhausted and he only played like 24 minutes or something along those lines, but they still had a massive comeback against, I think it was the Clippers.
They had the massive comeback against the Clippers. I think it was
And then last night
Detroit.
He played 37 minutes against the Celtics. So
great
job by me.
Great job by us. But you know what was interesting about the 37 minutes? If I remember, he only played like 5 minutes in the first quarter.
Really?
Like it was a weird. It was something like that. Like, because a buddy of mine texted me going like, "Does Wemby sit out normally this wrong?" I'm pulling up the first quarter stats, so just give me.
He does usually come out 5-6 minutes into the game. Like he tends to play short stints.
But he usually comes back in at the end of the first quarter.
Right.
And I don't think that happened yesterday.
Yep. So 5:23 in the first quarter.
Yeah, so it was like kind of an odd, like for that happened, and I was like, oh wow, that's weird. Maybe he's not going to hit that. And then him hitting 37 minutes is kind of impressive because then he goes pretty hard. So they are playing with his minutes and figuring and slowly trying to ramp him up, I think, to a degree. So I think that's where it's It's interesting. Ultimately, like, I'm just going to say this, like, I've been pretty high on them. That they have a legitimate chance to win the championship. I don't think there's I think there is an actual. I think they are the biggest threat to the Thunder.
More than the healthy Nuggets?
Yeah, because I don't know if we're going to get the healthy Nuggets for the most part. Two, the Cam Johnson piece just hasn't clicked, which I think would have been
pretty wrong about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it goes back to like what I said. I bet you next season it'll look a lot better. I bet you this is Richard Jefferson with the Spurs all over again type situation. But like it not clicking means they're not getting the shooting that they needed. They're missing Michael Porter Jr. basically in that regards. Because say whatever you want, and they miss the rebounding, they miss the shooting, they miss a guy being able to put it on the floor and get a shot off. I think that's so for me. And to go back to the Spurs, beyond just Wemby being Wemby, those three guards are so difficult to contain. And then add in Vassell, Champagnie hitting shots, Keldon Johnson hitting threes and getting offensive rebounds that we talked about last week, with his offensive rebound percentage going up. Then you add in guys like Carter Bryant beginning to get minutes and find his, like, they're actually prepping Bryant a little bit for minutes in the playoffs, I feel like. They've with Barnes out and stuff like that, like, it's pretty interesting. Like, I think they're well positioned and well built to take on this Thunder team. I think they are the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, they beat them in the regular season and all that, blah, 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 blah. But I just think the way they're set up, we'll have to see how they respond to the playoffs. But, like, this looks like a team that legitimately can win it all.
Yeah, I think they can. Retroactively upgrading the extremely scientific trust rating. I'm moving it up to, I think I had 7 to 7.5. I'm moving it up to an 8.
Just an 8.
Just an 8 so far. 8, maybe 8.5. I still trust the Thunder more.
Push it up to an 8.5.
I'm also retroactively upgrading the Celtics extremely scientific trust rating. I'm getting them up to an 8.5 too.
I'll go one step further. I think the Celtics are coming out of the East. I
trust them more than any of the other teams in the East.
That's the thing, and we talked about it before. I'm sorry, I do not trust the Knicks. They come off a great win against Denver, and then shit the bed twice in LA. It's like this up and downness with them.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care that the Cavs traded for Harden. We said it when it happened. I'm not going to trust them in the playoffs, full stop. Detroit, they don't have enough after Cade. And I think that's going to expose them in the playoffs. I just look at the Celtics going like, man, and that's a great story. If they get to the finals, that's a great story.
Yeah. Couple more things about the game last night. You mentioned Carter Bryant. I thought it was extremely funny. He took 6 shots in 5 minutes in his first stint. He had never taken more than 12 shots in a game, and then he goes 6 shots in 5 minutes. I also thought it was really interesting that the Celtics seemed like they wanted to match Luka Garza's minutes with Wemby's minutes rather than having Keita out there for those minutes. And I'm very curious if they're going to do things like that in the playoffs, whether with Garza or Vooch, to sort of spread out when it's like a really dominant rim protector rather than having Keita out there. Like if they play the Knicks, are they going to play Garza or Vucevic for Mitchell Robinson's minutes rather than having Keita out there is something that's interesting to me.
Can I just say, as an opposing team,
yeah,
I don't care. Like I get it. The threat of Garza spreading the floor, the threat of Vooch spreading the floor.
I don't care either, but they were pretty committed to it last night.
No, I'm saying as an opposing team, cool. I'm not going to.
No, yeah, that's how I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I'm going to protect the paint with that, and then just if those guys beat me 4 out of 7, we weren't going to win this series anyways. Like I think that's really my viewpoint. But it is interesting to point that out in that way, and I would have rather have Keita just because I think being even more physical with Wemby matters, and Cade is such a workhorse that I think it can actually tire Wemby out a little bit with all that. To your point about Carter Bryant, the 6 shots in 5 minutes, 2 shots after that for the rest of the game.
The Celtics were letting him shoot though, and he was like,
But that's
that was their strategy for everyone. They were like, we want you guys to just shoot threes all night.
And that's going to be fine. And that's exactly how a lot of teams are going to play these guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to guard Carter. They're going to go under on Castle. Like, this is going to – I don't know how much they're going to really worry about Fox shooting threes. They better worry about Champagny and Vassell, and even Keldon Johnson. But after that, like, I don't think they will be too concerned about it. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to see how the Spurs handle the playoffs with all that stuff. We're gonna keep it a relatively short show, but we do have to talk a little bit about the injury news for the Sixers because the hits just keep on coming for Philly. Tyrese Maxey, what's the injury to the pinky?
He has some sort of issue with a tendon, and I hate it when they call it a fifth finger instead of the pinky. Like, just say it's his pinky.
The fifth finger, but then I have to count 1, 2, 3. And if you count the other way, your thumb could be your fifth finger. I'm sure there's. I know it's a scientific thing. I know. I was just being. Let me get my jokes off a little bit.
Like,
Jay.
they don't call it a ring finger; they call it the fourth finger. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Don't know what if I count the other way. The problem is they've now dropped to 8th in the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
No Embiid with the oblique tear. The Hawks are behind them by a game. The Hornets, who like everybody was jumping on their nuts, have kind of just cooled down just slightly. There was a thought for a while that maybe the Hornets could get to 6. I don't think that's really going to be a thing anymore.
No, they're several games back of that, aren't they?
They're 4 games back.
Yeah.
They're 4 in the loss column back.
That's tough to make up with only like 15, 16 games left.
Well, that was like, but especially because they lost to Miami. They, you know what I mean? Like the losses that they've had in the span have been against teams that are ahead of them that they need to beat. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big thing there. But Philly dropping to 8, I mean, the Hawks, 7-game win streak, man, they might catch Philly there too. Like, at the time, I wasn't all that mad about the Jared McCain trade.
I was.
Yeah, well, it made sense to me. I understood the reasoning. Now it looks really bad.
Yeah. You think they could use a guy who can create off the dribble and shoot from the outside, maybe just a little bit? Like, Maxey, especially with Embiid out, is basically their whole offense driving everything for them. The speed, the ability to shoot off the dribble, the ability to turn the corner. Like, they just have nothing. And Campaign is not going to go for 30 points and 10 assists off the bench every night and go 8 for 8.
Campaign thinks he is. Campaign thinks he's going for 50 every night.
Did you see the quote from him after the game? He was like, I won the night. I don't care what Bam did.
That is actually 100% believable quote from Campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, like just trying to keep up there. Orlando's playing a little bit better. I don't see them catching Orlando. I think the Hawks catch them. I think Philly drops to the 9-10. And that's a tough playing game against Charlotte because I think Charlotte don't give up home court in this playing game to Charlotte.
No, I mean, it's a tough game whether you're playing them at home or on the road. We don't know if or when Embiid is going to be back. We don't know if or when Maxey is going to be back. This is going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. It doesn't mean he's going to be back in 3 weeks, right. By the way. And now,
I hate the evaluation thing, by the way. The way we're going to constantly it's just a way to keep pushing it. But yeah.
Side note on this, he's only played 61 games. Entirely possible he's ineligible for All-NBA now, which is just...
That sucks. I didn't even think about that. I hate that. The rule should be 65 games or 2,000 minutes.
I think there should just be no rule. Like,
that's fine too. That's fine too.
Let us, air quotes, because I don't have an official vote, just let everybody vote and they can take the minutes and games into account on their own.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing. Anything else you want to touch on? I know it's a relatively short show today, but anything you want to touch on real quick before we go?
No, man, it's just a bummer with Maxey. Like, so much fun to watch, like so much energy out there, the smiling, like I've made this comparison with Anthony Edwards before, where you watch Friday Night Lights, right? We talked about this before. It reminds me of Smash Williams, where he just always has the smile on his face because he just loves being out there and doing his thing so much. Maxey reminds me of that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's just fun when you have guys that look like they're having fun out there. Like, that's part of the reason when Luka's rolling, I love it because he looks like he's having fun out there. Like, there's a lot of that, like, adventure with all that stuff. You know who had fun last night? Bam Adebayo.
A lot of smiles from him and the Miami Heat throughout that entire game. Not a lot of smiles from your Washington Generals.
Yes, make that stick, the Washington Generals. All right, that's going to do it for us, and thank you for listening to the Double Dribble Podcast.
See y'all.